I
No.
haven't got there it is.
It's there, honey.
On? Awesome. Let's see, am I back? Hello, hello. It's doing the same thing it was doing with Sean last night. It just shows your name. I can't see my speaker view. That's fine. Good evening, everybody. This is Thursday night, Shredders Unite Biz Call. Thank you for joining me. I'm very, very excited about our guest this evening. And this is kind of the story behind it. When Sean came up with the idea of ER Shred and the bonfire, which I think is the most amazing analogy yet, and that is we all have our own personal bonfire, we have our own teams, but yet he was imploring us to come bring over your bonfire, your logs to my fire, and let's make a big kick-ass bonfire, and we will be burning brighter than any bonfire out there, and everybody's going to want to come join our fire. And I think that's just an amazing analogy. Anyhow, Stacy Lindstedt is my special guest this evening. She is one of the top business builders in the Chicagoland area, which Alice and I are from. We're not financially connected. She's dear friends with my wife, Allison, and I've gotten to know her over the years as well. And she's the first legacy member in our partner company, Isogenics, meaning that she has accumulated sales in excess of $1 million. She has an amazing business. She's helped out thousands. And the good news is that she was watching a farm. We're going to learn her story about the ER Shred community. She reached out to Allie. She reached out to me and a few others. And she's literally bought into it. Can you believe it? She joined our bonfire. That said, she has a tremendous wealth of experience as well as a history of success. And I am really, really excited to bring Stacy on board. Stacy, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. There you are.
Oh my God.
I can see you too.
My phone is acting up. I can't even get
What a
ER
beautiful.
Shred and Shredders Unite pulled up. Can you do it, please?
Okay,
Question
I'll
mark.
do it. So Stacy, while I've got you on, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the groups, why don't you go ahead and I'll start off with this. I'd like to assume that not everybody knows you, and that I'd like for you to give a brief history in terms of
Did it. Thanks.
okay. Who introduced you, Stacy, to our partner company, Isogenics? What year was that? And how did that all come about?
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much for the introduction. That was too kind. Super grateful to be here, and hello to everybody on the call and everyone on the replay. So, you know, it's been almost 12 years. I was introduced to Isogenics in 2011. And at the time, I am not that person now, but at the time I was a personal trainer and nutrition consultant. And I was introduced by Emily Vavra, and she and I met at a Kathy Savage fitness competition camp. And I, at the time, created my company, Get After It Girl, which is still my company. And I remember reaching out to her saying, what are you doing? I want to increase my brand. How can I include these supplements into my brand? And she told me all about the products. I, of course, said no. I even said this on my millionaire story. You can read it online. I looked online. I thought it was totally weird. I thought I was watching videos from Kathy Cooper, and I was like, I am not doing this. And I said no. And then maybe a month or two later, I'm living in my 1-bedroom apartment in Chicago, like working 4 jobs basically within the fitness industry, living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm just like, what kind of life is this? And so I reached out to her. I was training for the marathon, and I said, what products can I use for the marathon? And I'm interested in the possibility of making extra money. And she shared with me the products. It was so expensive for me. The 30-day system, it was $300. I had to put it on my charge card. I barely had enough room in my card to make that purchase. And I persuaded 2 of my buddies to do it with me. And we all went on this journey. And every day we would text each other, do you like it? Do you hate it? Do this, do that. And the light turned on for all of us. And I just started sharing it with, people would notice, but then I started sharing it with my clients and friends. And, I think I I want to give a shout out to Lenny Evans. I told Bob this earlier. I was so desperate to change that I drove 7 hours by myself to Kansas City to an Isogenics University. And Lenny was speaking. I'll never forget it because he said, you know, the biggest way to just sell and share this product is just to disarm your friends and family and just smile and say hi. And I just thought that was a no-brainer because everything is energy. A sale of any sort is just your energy. And it made so much sense to me. And my girlfriend, Emily, and I, she was a one-star at the time. So she was making $30,000 a year. We wrote a check to ourselves for $1 million and we both put it on our vision boards. And it took me until 2017, but 6 years, and that vision came true. So it was truly remarkable. I still don't know how and why it happened, but yeah, I'm just super grateful. And I'm so grateful to be on this call. And I'm so grateful to help in any way that I can. Cross lines, side lines, down lines, up lines. I don't care. You know that, Bob. Bob and Allie have been great friends of mine. I met them through events. We weren't financially linked, but we were heart linked. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. So just to understand, you were getting ready. Was it the Chicago Marathon that you were running?
Yes. So it's
Okay,
2011.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a huge marathon. That's a big one, even hard to get into. But so you're getting ready for the marathon. So it was your reaching out to your friend Emily to ask, do you have any products or suggestions, ideas to help me out with my preparation for the marathon?
Absolutely. And
okay.
Absolutely. And I was very adamant about, I was not going to cleanse. I thought I knew it all. For me, it was the fuel. I bought a 30-day system. It was the shakes and the ionics that sealed the deal for me. Those were the two products that ionics is my favorite product, period. But even the day of the marathon, I remember going to Starbucks at 5 a.m., getting a coffee, making a protein shake from Isogenics, and then I just ran. And I fueled 26 miles off of one Isogenics isolene shake. So.
Wow. So tell me, obviously you came to it because you had a product interest and you had a great experience and you finished the marathon, the Chicago Marathon, which is a big deal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to think that I could run that damn thing someday, but it's kind of a wishful thinking. But that said, when was it that, or how did Emily invite you to Isogenics University? When did the light bulb go off for you that I would like to learn more about this company from the aspect of paying it forward or sharing it as a business?
So what enticed me was her sharing with me that if I found two people that I could get my products paid for. And that was huge for me because I don't think people realize, people think people have money, but they don't. We don't really know what's underneath the hood of the car. And I needed money. I needed $150. So she said to me, if you can find two people to go on this journey with you, you can get half your products paid for. And I was like, boom, 1, 2. And then I got a debit card from Isogenics and I was just like, oh my God, like, how can I get more of that? So that's really how it started. And so I asked her, so can I make more money doing this? And she just said, oh my God, I can hear her voice. Oh my God, you have to go to this event. It's so amazing. And she started to share. She did what network marketing is. We are in the business of inviting. And so what she did was exactly what this business is about. She invited me to an event. If I were to invite you to an event, would you go? I'm going. And then she let the event do all the talking. She let the third party people, tell me and pour belief into me on what is possible. So that's how the invitation happened and what transpired. I remember driving back. I don't think I was more excited in my life, like talking to my best friend, Brooke. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And like, she had kids and she's a 6-figure earner on my team. And she's, telling her kids she's in the bathroom, but really she's on the phone with me with her laptop. and you just make it work. You know what I mean? Like you fit it into the pockets of your life. And that's truly how this business works.
Okay. So obviously people who do not know Emily Vavra, she's a big name with our fulfillment, our partner, Isogenics. But you said you started and she was roughly at about $30,000 a year, which if I'm doing my math right, that's about 10 cycles a week. She's making about $540 a week at that point in time.
Yes. And you know, it's
Right?
funny.
Okay. And today she's one of our top income earners, making multiple seven figures, which
Yes.
first of all, I got to say this, I did put the disclaimer up, but you know, in terms of disclaimers, we're not here to cure, prevent, diagnose any disease at all. We're basically a system that allows people to go on a journey to find what fuels their body, and in the process, actually live a better, healthier life. And I think that's that come alive moment that Lenny talks about, that we all aspire for. But that said, what we do here in Shredders Unite is we're saying, okay, you're excited, you're energized, what's next? And it's part of that conversation, as you said, that Emily had with you, and just pointing out that, hey, if you bring in two people, there's a way to reduce or basically save 50% on your products by just bringing in two friends.
It was monumental. If she didn't share that with me, and that's why I feel like every time anyone, if you're in the shred community, you're sharing it with someone, it would be a complete disservice for you to not share that part of the equation, because that could be the reason why they buy. Like I said, people, I just feel like money is an issue for a lot of people in this world. And I mean, I'll be honest, it's the best story ever about Emily. So Emily, she makes seven figures a year, and she invited me to the next event, which was Celebration. And again, I was struggling. Could I afford it? That sort of thing. And it's really not that expensive if you really think about it, but it was expensive to me. And so we're like, we're all going to share a room, and we're all going to get food at the grocery store. I mean, we didn't even go out to dinner. And we went to the front desk. She went to like pay for her bill, and they said her card was declined. And she was like, what do you mean? And it was because her Isogenics money didn't come in until the following day. And she's so embarrassed. Just to give you some perspective, this woman makes seven figures a year, but when I was with her, she was a 1-star, could not even afford her bill. And it's just the power of this industry is just remarkable. She was real. The best word to describe her is she is relentless and consistent and disciplined. And when you can put in that fire and that energy and that drive and that motivation and that inspiration, if you can pile that all up with your energy, then you're unstoppable.
So when you were at Isogenics University and you said that Emily did the right thing, and that she used the third party, she used the platform of Isogenics University to do the talking for her, for you to have your aha moment, your epiphany, business come alive moment. And you said part of that was hearing Lenny Evans speak. And my guess is at that time, he probably was maybe one of the main speakers. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Was it something that Lenny said that inspired you specifically, or was it the event in totality, you know, that got you excited?
Wow. So, you know, it's 12 years ago, but almost 12 years ago, there were just a few things that like hit me. So one was what he said, that it's just as easy as just disarming someone with a smile and saying hello. Another person, Michael Klaus, it was when he first started Isogenics, he came up and started to talk about your why and how it shouldn't be so difficult. In worst case scenario, it's about the money. And to me, it was. So I was like, it's about the money. And then thirdly, just watching these people go on stage for all of these different accolades and making all this money, and they were no different than I was. And I sat there and thought to myself, if they can do it, I can too. There's no reason why I can't do what these. And, you know, Emily has continued to invite. I mean, it's been 12 years. but now she has systems in place where there's always a Wealth Wednesday call. So you can always say, I'd love to, if I were to invite you to this event, would you take a look? So you're always inviting. You're inviting to the products, just like we are. I'm inviting you to hear this product testimony. I'm inviting you to go on this business call. And so we're in the business of inviting. So we just want to get them on these calls or at these events. But events, the magnitude of the energy and the vibration of an event is indescribable compared to a call like that. Is to be submerged with like-minded individuals for 2 full days immersed. And you actually have to, you have a walk down of energy when you leave. You have to like prepare yourself, because then you get into the real world and you're like, whoa, this isn't what I signed up for. But events are amazing. They really are. If you can get to an event, especially the big ones like NYKO or Celebration, they're amazing on so many levels.
So let's talk about, and we'll fast forward, but obviously when you got started, you mentioned you came in with the 30-day system, which is one of our kits. So let's put this in ER Shred language. Let's just say it's either my pack, which is what we're currently doing. People buy the products, the 4 products that are designed for the ER Shred. So you're buying a my pack. Hopefully, knock on wood, soon, we're going to have our own shredder pack, which will allow 1 point, look up the shredder pack, pick your flavors and buy. But you had mentioned to me earlier, just as I had recognized when we started years and years ago, it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do, right? What did you do when you shared it with others? What kit was your go-to?
The bottom line is whatever you start with is what you're going to share, because it's what you're familiar with. It's how you feel when you use the products. So if I were to start with a President's Pack, then I know that that's what I would share with someone. And so because I was introduced to the 30-day system, I always shared the 30-day system because I had an emotional connection to it. And so, whatever, if you're doing a my pack of the shred program, then you're going to share that with someone else because that's what you use. So to be very mindful of what you use and what you choose, because the bottom line is the systems work and it's a system. And so you're sharing a system and you're in a system with it. And then they're going to continue to share that same system. So I'm grateful that it was a 30-day. I guess if I could turn back time, it would have been the President's Pack. But the 30 system, it's what your experience is, what you're going to share,
And
so.
why do you think that? In terms of why is that important in your opinion? It's your experience, it's your emotional attachment.
Yeah, to me, it's because you had the box, you open up the box, you had the experiential feeling of grabbing all the products and setting them down and grabbing the list and the graph and what are the cleanse day and what are the shake days, and you sell what you know and what you feel confident about. Like if I was introduced to the 30-day system, I'm not going to sell someone Celatoi or the collagen because that's not my experience. My experience is I opened up and I felt and opened the box and smelled it, the container, and poured it. It's all about the experience.
Okay. No, and I don't mean to be, I'm asking open-ended questions to get your view of it, but we often talk about with ER Shred, the number one thing that we want is what shredders to understand is this is all about empowerment. We want you to be fulfilled. We're giving you the power to decide what works for you. And that's kind of tricky, but we also know that if you give us the vote of confidence to stay on the tracks for the 11-day system, we're quite confident that we're going to get you over the hump so that when you do go back to some of your old vices or foods that didn't serve you, we know that you're going to have an event that maybe not be so pleasant. That's going to allow you to decide like, whoa, I guess maybe I'm not going to have Brussels sprouts next time. The bottom line is that we have an emotional attachment to the product, but also to our own personal story. You said people started noticing you with the changes in terms of, was it, how did that show up? Was it you just had more energy? Did you lose weight? Was it your demeanor that changed? What were people noticing about you?
With the ER shred?
No, well, I'll go there too, but even on the original, either one.
Oh, for me, the biggest thing was, and this is before Adaption Elixir, we're talking 11 plus years ago. The biggest thing was the day after my marathon
Mhm.
and running up the stairs. And my director of personal training was like, he has a Irish accent. He's like, why are you running up the stairs? And I said, I think it's the ionics, my recovery. He's like, you didn't run fast enough. And I was like, I just started laughing because he's like an elite athlete. And of course I didn't run fast enough. Like I barely made under 10-minute mile, but I was able to do yoga the next day. And that was huge. It was to the point where that conversation, maybe 2 months in, is how I enrolled all the Chicago athletic clubs. So
Okay.
to give some perspective, that's the perfect answer for that.
So Chicago Athletic Clubs, for people who don't know, that was a big chain of gyms in the Chicagoland area, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good question. How did you go about bringing them on board?
So it was about, so it's so funny, when we first start, we're like, I'm going to call this club and this club and this club, but it really is about the relationship. It's the mother that wants more time with their kids. It's the, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. And at the time it was Justin, who is the director of personal training. He came up to me and said, I want to know more about this recovery product you're talking about. And so we talked about it and I shared what was going on. And at the time I was very good shape. And he then said, I'm going to talk to Pat about it because I think this could be good for the clubs. So it was that acknowledgement of him seeing me being so happy and excited and vibrant and recovering, to which that conversation led to the conversation with the owner, and then ultimately me talking to the owner and then his other partner, and then launching it from there. So it was just a testimonial conversation, and just, sharing the benefits of how this could help the club, how it could help the members that are looking for weight loss, or if, at Chicago Athletic Clubs, there were so many elite athletes, so many Ironman triathlons, so they needed fuel. And he was one of those people, and he would always refer them to some random company because that's just what they did. He's like, well, why don't we refer them to this company? And not only that, it could create additional revenue for the clubs.
Excellent. So I have a question though, just from a standpoint of, a lot of people are coming to this call. Some people they're at different levels of their business. But you mentioned something in the very beginning. You and Emily wrote yourself a check, and I think it was Brooke, your friend, that went with you. You wrote yourself $1 million check. So you put that on your vision board. Did that happen? The visit to Kansas City for Isotonics University, did that happen before bringing on the gyms or after?
That was before.
Before. Okay, so this is fun now. So when you did that, was that just one of the exercises with David Woods, or was that a Lenny idea?
It was, I believe it was a Wood, and it was just, just a cast your vision. And I just remember writing that check, and over time, I'd have a vision board every year. For me, I even have one. I could go get it for you right now. I create one every year. It's something that I do. I think it's in the Bible that say, without the vision, the people perish. And, I think it's important, no matter where you are. You said there's so many people on different parts of this journey on this page. I think no matter what part of your journey on is, you should have a vision of what you want in this world, whether it's personal, friends, business, travel, whatever. And it's somewhere that you can see visibly every day, so that you know what you want, and then you work for what you want. And so every year for 7 years, I had that check on my board.
Excellent. Is that vision board somewhere easy where you can get it?
Yeah, hold on.
What I will do, hold on. What I'll do is I'm going to tell the audience right now, just go ahead. I'm just going to explain to them the importance of this. So this is why I think this is so amazing from our perspective, is that here's a person who is one of the top leaders in our fulfillment company partner, Isogenics, who built it the old fashioned way, kind of the way the Escobars did with the 9-day, but she came in much later with the 30-day. But she had a vision, she had her why, and she had basically, she had a huge desire. And my point being is that with someone at the level of Stacy's success that says every year I do a vision board, what I'm suggesting is, hey guys, take note. The best way to finally arrive at your destination, the easiest way, one of the easiest ways I know of, is find somebody who resonates with you and copy what they did. And I have to applaud Stacy that here with all of your success, and she's created residual income that I can say, I know it's over 6 figures and has been forever. And I know she, like Sean, she took time away from the business, but she still makes that vision board. So go ahead. I'm sorry, Stacy.
Oh, you're fine. So can you see this?
Ken.
So I always create it. Sometimes I do it with friends, sometimes I do it alone, but I always do it before the new year. I take some time to reflect on what happened over the year prior and what I could have done better, what I flippin' rocked at, and what was just good. And then I decide what I want for the next year. And so, not to go into a long story, but I've gained a lot of weight from some medications I've had to take, and that's why I'm doing Air Strike, because I want to get off of it. Is I have a picture of me when I used to be in really great shape. I have a picture of the goal I have to do a fitness competition at the end of the year, which is a very audacious goal. Peace, love, fun, a picture with friends where I'm laughing, love. I want to get married again. The bikini I want to wear when I do the fitness show. It says, I am a money magnet. I always attract abundance and prosperity easily and effortlessly into my reality. Happiness, and then all the places I want to go to Sedona, because I've seen you go with Allie and it looks amazing. I want to go back to San Diego. And then I also put a picture of Cinque Terre, which is the Italian Riviera. And the only way that I'm going to be able to go to the Cinque Terre is if I make a lot more residual income, period. There's like going to Sedona, that's easy. Going to San Diego, that's easy. Going to Cinque Terre and enjoying myself and not worrying about money, that's increasing my isogenics income. But that's the why, because, you know, why am I doing what I'm doing? When it was a why before, like I said, it was the money. And then when I was doing really well, it was about helping other people, which it always was helping other people, but it was a bigger why. It was more than just the money. Like the money was the byproduct. But now it's like, I want to be able to travel effortlessly. I want to, you know, do these things. And so that's why it's on the vision board, because I need to, like I said, without a vision, the people perish.
Exactly. So, I mean, there you cited the Bible. And I wanted to make a statement to everybody, because when it's me, or if it's Lenny or anyone else who comes on and does a live, I would say 9 times out of 10, Coleman, we're sharing our life experience, a lesson learned. And we often will cite maybe a resource. Maybe I mentioned a book. And I do this often only because it's for this realization. It's not that you woke up one day and said, hey, I'm going to do a vision board, or I'm going to create my why, or I'm going to really get really clear on what is the business that I want to create for myself. I mean, this requires work, but it also requires a plan. So what I want to tell people is that, you know, I know Stacy will say this, is that basically this industry of direct sales is literally a business model attached to personal development. And why that is that for you to be successful, you have to have confidence, certainty, posture. You have to believe in your product. You have to have a vision. You have to have a why, because times will get tough. And then you have to execute. And executing and taking action is really, really, really important. You can't do all the before and then just sit back and wait for the lottery to come in, because chances are it's like getting hit by lightning. It might happen because it's happened before, but it's very rare. But we want to show you both things. And that is, how do you prepare the mind? How do you prepare yourself for success? And then what are the action steps to go forward? So when I do recommend a book, it's because someone asked me, or it's something that I think, hey, this is going to maybe be of value. It doesn't mean go read another book so I can distract you and get you distracted from your real purpose and taking action and doing the do. Not at all. So like Stacy said, you were motivated by that initial Isogenics University. You did your $1 million check, similar to like the I love Jim Carrey. He wrote a $20 million check and stuck it to the top of his ceiling above his bed. I'm sure many of people have heard that story. So go on. So you started doing your vision boards, you had your why and you were clear on it. What was the action steps? What were the things that what were the do? What was the things that you did, Stacy, that allowed you to become successful?
Such a great question. So it is so true. It's like, and I would get wrapped up in it because Emily would always say 80% the prospecting and the do, and then 20% management. And as you grow your business, it's very easy to go into management, 80% and 20. But at the time, it was just all about sharing the products. At the end of the day, I always write, and I have written for 12 years, every single day in my gratitudes, that I'm grateful for every business builder and every product user in Isogenics. I think it's so easy to just go, oh, the business builders, but the product users are 80% of the game. So the goal is to get people on the products to have an emotional experience with it, and then to share it with others. And you never know. I mean, if we're taking the emotion out of my conversation, it's a numbers game. You just share the products with people that need a solution, and you share and you share and you share, and you meet people where they are. So you're going to walk with the walkers, you're going to jog with the joggers, and you're going to run with the runners. So there are some people that are just going to be product users for life, and you're going to love on them, and you're going to take care of them, and it's all good. And then you're going to have the joggers who might share here and there. And then you're going to have the sprinters who are like, I want to do this business. What do I need to do? Do I need to understand ACMDE, which is, associate, consultant, manager, director? They need to understand the tracks to run on. So the idea is share the products, love on the people, and then always share the opportunity. I literally always say the same thing. It would be a disservice if I didn't share with you how you can get your products paid for. If I were to share that would you be open to that? And of course they go, yes. And then I share it with them. Or I'll say, oh my God, like someone will say, I saw your post on Isogenics. What's this about? I'm like, oh, were you interested in the product or the business or both? So even if it was the product, they already have a subliminal message that there's a business opportunity there. And then they say, oh, the products. Okay. And then you go through, find the solution, share that they can get their products paid for. And then it's just, for lack of a better word, it's a numbers game. It's, if someone shares, they share a lot, they want to go all in on the business. And then you dictate you share your energy and time with those that are on those different tracks. So I would immediately, sit down and explain, send them videos, tell them how to get from associate to executive, what that looks like, what all the bonuses are, share with them you plus two, them plus two, get them on calls, where they can learn about the products, show them videos, check in with them once a week, find out what their goals are. And to me, and anyone that knows me in my business will know this, I wasn't a huge enroller, but I was a huge empowerer. And I would empower people and inspire people and lift them up and make them believe that they could do anything in this world. And when you have that feeling that you're that confidence and that, then you're unstoppable. So that ends up growing into your 4 PET. And I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but it's your fourth level of your personally enrolled. Because what happens is I'm pouring belief into my friend Brooke, and then she enrolls Marissa, who enrolls her sister who enrolls Steph, who enrolls this person. And that's how you start to grow into the pools.
Maybe make an easy analogy. It's like having great grandparents and building the tree down to where you are. So that's 4 generations. So that's what she means by that. And it's interesting because it's the brilliance behind that model is simply this. If you do the math and you look at it, and it doesn't matter, I think his name is Brand. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that, but it is a famous psychologist that said your brain, you're only able to really have about 150 good, solid relationships. After that, maybe this is before social media, but after that, it becomes a little bit stretched. You really don't have a lot in common with them, or you don't know them enough to consider them a close friend. So when you break down a tree, you can't get much past the 4th generation with over 100 people or 150 people. So then when they set up this business model, they typically have you work, as you said, in that 4 PET mindset. Because once it gets into the 5th generation, 6th generation, you're a little bit removed, and you lose a little bit. You're losing a little bit of your influence because you don't know them, right? That's the concept. So this is really, really good. So what I want to get back on, and I want to jump forward to ER Shred, but I want to stay on the theme of how you came into the initial 30-day. For the audience, just to be totally transparent, you did step away from the business for a while after you had built up your residual income. And people know Sean's story. People know that Sean hit 30. He stepped away. He still was kind of doing it, but not really. But he didn't really get reactivated until ER Shred, basically about 2 years ago. So tell me, Stacy, what was it that brought you back in as far as interest to be on tonight's program? If you want to call it that. How long have you been in ER Shred? I mean, what was it that got you moved to say, hey, I want to do the ER Shred? So let's go forward, because it's kind of like beginner's mind. You've been there, done that, but now you're starting to experience the ER Shred.
So Sean's 40, right?
Yep.
So he's stopped for 8 years, huh?
It might be 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, he kind of dabbled, but he wasn't focused building. He wasn't a focused builder.
Okay.
Think of it that way.
I'm really grateful that he stepped forward to be so honest and transparent, because I didn't really know he was doing it at the time, but it gave me permission to do the same. So what happened was in 2017, I went through a really horrific divorce, and my body just shut down. And what I mean by that is it just wasn't even functioning. If you just go to your endocrine system, your eyes blinking, just the basics. I was barely functioning, and I ended up going to a holistic health practitioner. And funny enough, getting back to ER Shred, it was all about how sugar monitors your entire body, and we need to get you back to, as they would call it, a baseline. And so I removed isogenics completely and started eating a certain way, drinking no coffee, 4 liters of water, and eating certain foods very clean. And I started to feel really great. And I started to feel like a fraud. I kind of had a breakdown with the divorce. And like I said, I started to feel like a fraud because I wasn't using the products. So I stopped sharing. And it had been a long time, and I have so much gratitude for Isogenics. The fact that, for someone new to this industry, the beautiful thing about residual income is you're creating an income producing asset, and you get paid, you work once or twice to get paid over and over. So I had the luxury of getting healthy and getting better, but not being on the products. So I shied away. I did some other business ventures. I created a retail line, et cetera, et cetera. And I saw you posting on Facebook, and I don't think I've ever seen you more alive in your life, in my life. I was like, what is he doing? Like, why does he keep talking about this? Like, I felt like every day or every other day I'd see a video from you or a post from you. And you're like, I feel the most best I've ever felt. I'm alive, blah, blah, blah. And I think I reached out to you and was like, what are you doing? And, or Allie. And then you guys put me in the group and I was just watching and watching and watching. And, then I was, hesitant, like, what do you mean? You don't eat this and you don't eat that? I mean, it's a very specific protocol. But then I finally decided to take a chance and do it. And, you've seen the undulating wave of me in and out and in, and that's on me. But there was a point where I was on it and I truly, the light went on and I was so freaked out because I was so alive that I was afraid that I was having a panic attack. So I took a pill because I have lorazepam from my psychiatrist. And I'm like, no, it's not because of that. It's because I just feel good. So that's how I got introduced to Earshare was you. I'm doing it now. I had a steak today. I have another shake that's incubated. I'm going to take after this call. And I just, more than anything, what I love about Earshare is the community. I feel like every human being wants to be a part of a tribe, wants to belong, wants to feel good, wants to feel like they matter. And that is what this community has created. Then you have the board where everyone is selfless. I've never seen anything like it. I also love that, like, I kind of wrote the island of the misfits, how we're all like not really financially linked, but like we have the same vision. And again, without a vision, the people perish. No one's perishing because the vision is so clear. And I mean, honestly, I love the protocol, but the community is more important to me than the protocol. And that's why I think anyone could be successful in this business, because like you and I talked about today, it's so turnkey. Like, you don't have to do a lot of coaching. It's right in there. You go in and you click the guides, you do the thing. It's easy. It's effortless. It's beautiful. Cause trust me, I think we've all been there where we're like coaching on different protocols, making ourselves crazy, trying to help someone along the way. This is just so easy. So I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. And I hope for the people who are on the Shredder call, they're interested, I'm hoping, in the business. That's why they're listening. They're being inspired. But hearing you speak, it's no different than like the testimonial call last night on Wednesday night, which was amazing to hear those personal stories, which kind of literally like, oh my God, if it worked for her, maybe it would work for me. And I'm hoping tonight people are hearing your story and they're like going, wow, she's not a whole lot different than I am. And if she could do it, maybe I could. And then hopefully what we're doing is we're finding ways to inspire you guys out there to take action. But it all depends on you, the individual. You have to at one point stand up and say, I'm going to do this, and you have to take action. So now that you've seen both worlds, you've had immense success with our partner company on the old way of doing it, just as Sean did. Sean and Crystal built up an amazing business, and people know the story of their parents. I mean, Sean's parents, Tony and Randy Escobar. People have heard Peter's story. I've had other people on here. You mentioned community, which I think is key. And I want to point out that when this concept, it wasn't named ER Shred, but this whole idea, when it was birthed, it came together pretty darn fast. But it was years in the making because it was conversations with Sean. It was pointing out things that we didn't like. We know a lot of good people, leaders who've left because they burned out coaching people. They just couldn't do it anymore. Or it wasn't duplicating easy enough. It wasn't simple enough. Or it was too challenging to do a 2-day cleanse. We had to figure out an easier way. So all these were issues that we were hoping for, an idea to course correct, if you will. And slowly but surely things started popping up. Incubating shakes. Dr. Ruggiero pointed it out to Peter, and we tried it. Like, oh my God, this is a difference maker. Dr. Plant comes up with the collagen bone broth, and you can have it on cleanse days. We found out that was a game changer as it relates to getting through a cleanse day. And then finally, I think the biggest missing piece, Sean had his own health crisis and did an elimination diet, did it with grass-fed beef and totally turned his health around and was super, super excited. But then when he did this in combination, that's when he was like, oh my God, had his own come alive moment, as Lenny has coined. And the right people showed up. You know, I was there, Jesse's there, Heather, Susan. I mean, the core group, we all bought into it because we love the concept and the idea. So that's a lot from me. But saying all that, I know you've been familiar with the community for over a year. You're now doing it. What are your plans going forward? And what do you see that can be different in terms of an opportunity with ER Shred versus what it was like in the old days with your 30-day system?
Really good question. So, you know, like right now I'm just finalizing, coming back to feeling alive. I think I talked to you about this. So a lot of people call this a fat adaptive diet, which I agree with. It can get slammed into a keto slide, which we don't want. For me, I feel like it is all about eliminating sugar, and that sugar is the culprit. That's how I look at it. And like anybody, you know, they talk about that cancer cannot exist in an alkaline state. Like it's just the truth. And more often than not, sugar and that sort of thing, processed stuff, is going to get you in that acidic state. I know this more than anyone because I've dealt with candida my entire life. Susan Rothman knows because I talked to her about it 2 days ago. So for me, I feel like it's more talking about that and about this whole vision about eating clean and feeling great and eliminating culprits and this, that, and the other. My thought process is, at least for now, until there's a pack, is to share the pack as a my pack and to continue to share the products just like I normally would, but just say that this is the shredder pack. And the same thing, let me know if you would like to get your products paid for, or have your products paid for. It's super easy. You know, you share it with 2 people, you have the 25-25 PIB, that's 150, and just still keeping the main thing. Like at the end of the day, it's about doing a system. It's utilizing and doing the isogenic system because it works. And that's how you build your business, and that's how you make money. So for me, it's the same thing. It's just, you know, sharing your story. It's all about the same concept. It's sharing your story. Like before I got an ER Shred, it's literally it is a system of saying it. Before ER Shred, I was sluggish. I was bloated. You know, I've been using ER Shred literally from a system from Isogenics. I've been using ER Shred for over 3 months. And as a result, I feel so amazing. I'm on fire, blah, blah, blah. And then going the same route. So still utilizing the tools of Isogenics, but it's gearing it towards ER Shred.
Mm-hmm. How important for the audience or for you? Now, are you excited about the business again, about the opportunity?
I have never been more excited than I can't literally thank my lucky stars for Bob. I think every human being on this call should be thanking Bob. I haven't been excited about Isogenics in general in years until I saw you post about it. And that's what I'm talking about. It is people. It's so funny. You're going to post and go, oh my God, no one liked my post. Let me tell you something. People are looking. I was watching Bob's post for a long time before I actually said something about it. And so you cannot, you have to continue to push and push and push. But like, I have never been more excited about Isogenics in general and about the business than I have in the past year. And I owe it all to someone taking a chance and sharing their story and being vocal and being committed and disciplined and dedicated to share what they're passionate about. So my advice to anyone on this call is, if this is a passion for you, don't dim your light. Shine your light and share these products with somebody, because you just never know whose life you're going to change. I mean, shit, excuse my French. I was $1 million earner. I've made $1.8 million since I started 12 years ago. And I was in the biggest funk of my life, and Bob lifted me up. Bob literally changed my life, and Allie, of course. But it's just, I don't know. I'm fired up. I'm fired up. I was so excited about this call. Like I sent a text to my very good friend. I said, I'm so excited I'm on this call tonight. You know, just completely just reignited my belief in isogenics. So just know you're in the right place. You're in the right place.
So I have to ask, I'm just doing the math real quick. Okay. So I just did the fast math. So you've been in isogenics for 12 years and you just said you've made 1.8 million?
Yes.
Okay. And what that equates to over a course average income for the last 12 years, and you walked away from this for several years, you've been making $150,000 a year each and every year. I know it didn't start that way. How many years was it before you hit this? I know you hit millionaire before we did, the Legacy Club. What year was that?
I hit Legacy in 2017. I hit 3-star, which is a 6-figure income, in 2013. That's when, once that happened, I quit working for the Chicago Athletic Clubs and then went all in.
Okay. So in other words, you worked really, really hard. You got yourself to 3-star, which at that level, you're basically making 100,000 a year or more. You're at 6 figures. At that point, it gave you the opportunity, the freedom of choice to decide, I'm going to focus more on my isogenics business. And you left the relationship with Chicago Athletic Clubs.
Yes.
And you went hard. And you hit millionaire 5 years later, basically. You started in 2012 and 2017, you hit millionaire?
2017. And I would say this, like for Sean to create a program, like that's what I would do. Like I would create, it's not that I'm saying you have to do that, but sometimes thinking outside the box is the way to go. You know what I mean? Even when like I taught you guys about that program, like 5 years ago, like that's why it's working. It's because he went outside the box and figured out what's right, and figured out community and figured out everything. And that's why everybody is like all in. Like, it's so amazing. I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, but like, I just want everybody on this call, if they hear it now or on replay, that you are in the right place at the right time. And that you are so blessed to be surrounded by these people because, you know, Bob, myself, Allie, Sean, like we've all been doing this for a very long time and we're the most lit up that we've been ever. So it's pretty.
And that is, and that's primarily, my guess is that I think one of the geniuses of ER Shred is that, as Sean said, if we build it, they'll come.
Yeah.
And everything is there, all the pieces are in place, except maybe the last piece is going to be to really inspire people to take action and build the business. But it went through a proof of concept. We created the culture. We created the community. We've got the coaching down on the products. We've got the support systems in place. Now the next piece is, do I want in and do I really want to build this? And what are the tracks to run on? And that's where, go ahead.
I will say that, like, so I think every board member, and I'm not one, but like has a sweet spot, right? But if I had to say my sweet spot it would be in that sector. And so I would love to help anybody grow their business with this company, period. End of story.
And you still do vision boards. I can see it right behind you, but you have your whiteboard up there.
Oh yeah, whiteboard. I have another whiteboard. It's in I have a back room that I'm in 24/7. So I have a whiteboard there with my 11-day shred numbers. I just think, you know, it's just like you said, it's personal development with a compensation plan. That's the beautiful thing about this company, is that you earn as you learn. You know, 12 years ago, I would never know what a whiteboard was. I wouldn't know what a vision board was. I wouldn't know what writing out gratitudes was, affirmations. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but it's like, it's amazing. Like, I'm a completely different person than I was 12 years ago. And I'm so grateful. Like, we have a gift. We truly have a gift. And The biggest thing is it's just like, I'm looking at this duplex outlet. It's that you need to plug in. And we get on these calls, but like plug in, get onto the site, learn the compensation plan. Like, if you really want this, like dive in, get dirty. Like Theodore Roosevelt says, get in the arena. Like you get in and you get dirty, but then it's like gladiator, you win and you're just like unstoppable. And you're so glad you got in the dirt,
It's funny because there's so many different directions we can go in here, but one of the major things you've talked about is you do a gratitude list, and you do that because what does it do? It brings up your vibration, right? You're grateful for a lot, and you're focusing on the things that you're grateful for, and you're not paying attention to the things that potentially could be knocking you off your game or the negative things in the world, right? So when you're basically doing a gratitude list, you're bringing up your vibration. When I hear you talk about the business and that I haven't been this excited in years, it gets me jacked up because I'm like, oh my God, if Stacy's excited, that's amazing to me. Because you would think that after a certain level of success, some people just kind of say, yeah, I'm doing great. My business is on a solid foundation. And you lose your luster a little bit, or the enthusiasm. So given what we have with ER Shred, with all the pieces in place, well, I kind of said that, I don't put that in your words, but you will leverage the community, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. You will help with building the business, which is going to be doing the do, which part of that is you're starting with your why, what is your vision, getting clear on that, and then obviously doing some of the things to keep you of the right mindset, gratitude list, journaling. But you mentioned getting really down and dirty, getting into the nitty gritty of the compensation plan, understanding how it works. I like that you said that you reach out to everybody and you meet them where they're at. And that's another example I'd like to tell you. Everybody would like to find a business builder, but I've yet to find a business builder that says, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business builder, come pitch me your business. I mean, it doesn't happen that way. It's either they're entrepreneurial, they see the vision, or it's like you had a great result on the product. You went to Isogenics University and you had that light bulb moment and you wrote yourself that crazy check for $1 million, which the good news is that you've almost doubled that check in the last 12 years. I mean, your initial goal. So you're gonna have to write yourself a bigger check on your vision board. But what I get excited about is I really feel we're at the tipping point because we're starting to see the momentum in the group with the excitement, the energy, and the numbers of people who are coming in and joining. I'm lucky as an admin, you get to see all those metrics. You get to see who's coming in on a monthly basis and the activity, and the numbers are growing. And guys, we're right there. And what I'd like to point out is that, yeah, we feel like we're a big, bad community at 24,500-ish, 24,400. We're going to hit 25,000 again here in a few months. But my point is that that's just a microcosm of what's possible. We all could have a 25,000 person team in ER Shred and add fuel to the fires, what I'm kind of getting at. And my view is this. When I watched Peter Greenlaw start, he was making $500 a month. He literally wasn't even at $30,000 a year yet when he was telling me about the program in 2004. But what struck me today is one of the reasons why Peter's successful is he had one of the biggest, hairiest visions of anybody that I know of. He didn't just say, I'm going to make $1 million. He just didn't say, I'm going to help 1,000 people, or I'm going to make 10 executives, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find 10 executives. That's 10 people finding 10 people, right? Consultants. What he said is he bought into John Anderson's vision. And in his mind, John Anderson picked him to go out there and change the world. In his world, Peter Greenlaw is going to change the world one person at a time by showing him this protocol. And he lives by it to this day. And when I think about it, I thought, wow, he has stuck to that vision from the very beginning when he was making $500 a month. And now I stand back and he's making multiple. I mean, he's done very, very well for himself. But the point is, is he doesn't stop working it. He hasn't lost his enthusiasm. And part of that is he has a big vision. So my statement is that I think it's good to make goals that are achievable, SMART goals. I mean, all these things you may have heard of before, but I also think when you cast a vision out there of what's possible or what you would like to become, when you meet your vision, as Stacy has, she's got to write a bigger check. You got to make a bigger vision because you're going to make a bigger impact, right? So when I look at what's possible with ER Shred, what Sean has accomplished, what Stacy has accomplished, what I've accomplished, and Allison and anybody on this team, I guess it's all relative, right? There's always someone looking at you saying, gee, I wish I had your business. My point is that everything's possible. And I think given the fact that it's simple, it's only 4 products, it's only 11 days, the community's in place, the coaching's in place, the energy, the enthusiasm, everything is there. All it's going to require is you to say is I'm in, raise your hand, work with your upline. And if you don't have an upline to help out, reach out to one of us. There's plenty of people in our ER Shred community that are willing to give their shirt off their back for you, financially connected or not, because they want to see you become successful. And as we succeed as a community, it lifts everybody's boats. And Stacy, I'm so excited to be able to work with you because I look at you as a leader and you've got gusto and you've got the it factor. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if I get Stacy on fire, that's only going to up my game. And if I can keep you on course and we can be accountable to each other as far as the business, we got to put Chicago back on the map. And when I look at what's possible, I mean, that's Peter's famous line. We're over in different countries and all over the damn place. He's like, we're not even in Chicago yet because, there's, 3.5 million people here in the city and it's much bigger in the suburbs. But the point is that we've barely scratched the surface. And I think often a lot of people have this mindset of, oh yeah, it's been around 20 years. I've missed that opportunity. Only people at the top make the money, which is the worst thing in the world to say. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. So I'm sorry for going on a rant there, but is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with, any kernels of wisdom to end the call? And I'd love to have you back.
You know what's so funny? I was gonna think before I spoke, but you had just said a tidbit about, oh, it's 20 years, blah, blah, blah. I want to make this very clear for you guys. So Emily was enrolled by Holly DeMott, who's another Isogenics millionaire. But Emily was under her, and Emily is doubling the income that Holly makes. It doesn't matter where you are in this business, period. It doesn't matter whether you enroll now or in 10 years. You have the same chance of doing the best you could ever do than if you did it 20 years ago. So that's so important. Literally, Holly's a 7-star, so that's $500,000 a year ish. And Emily makes almost $2 million a year. So she completely just busted out over her. And so this opportunity is so abundant and so amazing. And it just, that doesn't matter. My closing would just be to take a chance. If you're on this call, the reason why you're on this call is because you're interested. And so then I have to tell myself this every day about a lot of different things in life. It's either you're interested or you're committed. So right now you're interested, you're on the call maybe, or you're committed. But if you're interested, take this call as your calling card to commit and figure out what that commitment is. And maybe you need to talk to Bob or myself or Sean or whoever, but we need to map out for you or figure out what your goal is and that goal date. What is it? Is it, I'm going to be a consultant and it's going to be, February 28th. Great. I'm going to be a manager and it's going to be this date. Because if you don't have a goal, then you're not pointing anywhere. So my advice would be to 1, commit, whatever that means for you. And then 2, create a goal with a deadline date. And then maybe you can put in the chat what that goal and that goal date is. And like, let's circle back in about a month and see if you hit that goal. Because I can guarantee you, if you create a date, the odds are you're pretty close to hitting it, if not hitting it.
So just for the audience to be clear on it, what you're saying, which I think is brilliant. I just did this exercise a few days ago with myself. Where do I want to be? What's my big goal? And what time frame? And then it's all math. You can reverse engineer it and break it down to, what do I have to achieve each month, each week, each day, each hour? I mean, you can break it down that finite if you want to, but it keeps you focused and on task. So you will meet that goal. I love that. I absolutely love that. Stacy, thank you so much. We are so excited. I know Sean's is beyond in terms of having you on as an ER shredder. I think the key is we're attracting some major league talent. Lenny's on board again in a bigger way, and I'm super excited to see what he has to share. But my view is simple. It's more plug and play than ever before. Now it's time to just get down in the dirt and go to work.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. We'll have you back soon. Everybody, Shredders Unite Business Call. It's every Thursday night. You can visit www.ershred.biz. We'll be always adding to it, but that's kind of the initial tracks to run on. Reach out to any of us, and thank you for attending. If you didn't watch the call on Tuesday night, one of the most amazing interviews I've ever seen with Heather's friend and her family's success. Wednesday's last night's testimonial call, like all of them, have just been off the charts. And what I like to do is, there was a young woman that I think was 19. So what you want to do is you want to take your Friendly app, you want to download that and just take her interview, that 15 minutes, and you can use that as a snippet to send out to any of the 19-year-old or young adult. You know, here she sounds just like you. Maybe you'd be interested in hearing what she had to say. Bottom line is find out what your why is, what your purpose is, who is your avatar, who's your ideal candidate who will listen to you, your story, and just go out there and share. Stacy, thank you so much, guys. It's top of the hour. Thank you for your time, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Stacy. Good night, everybody.
You're so welcome.
Appreciate the call.
Thanks, Stacy. Good
Thanks,
night,
Bob.
everyone. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you,
Thanks,
Bob.
Stacy.
Good night, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good
Thank you
night.
so much.